Everything's Fine on 93.9 Dublin South FM.
And what I'm going to do is to talk about the second most important news of the programme, that I'm going to talk about it as our listeners here locally in Dublin know what's happened last night, a couple of days ago, when people actually have recognised the state of Palestine has been recognised by the state of Republic of Ireland, and the Palestinian flag flew on the Dáil Éireann beside the flag of European Union, and of course there was another flag of Ukraine. But what is going on, onslaught, continuing the onslaught? If you remember my show a few weeks ago, not too far away, I categorically predicted this, and my prediction was not far from what I predicted, was that Rafah will be decimated. And, the announcement was being made that move Rafah, we will shift you a safe haven and all the rest of it, and Rafah is safe and all that. But then again, I knew that he's going to bent upon to kill as many people as possible, as many destitute, innocent civilian children and helpless people bombing. I mean, hello, the mind boggles literally that this operation has no ending, and the world is screaming at the top of their voice. ICJ, International Criminal Justice Court of Justice, has actually declared and all the rest of it, but nobody is capable of actually doing something or stopping that onslaught. And therefore, I categorically question the UNILEF international force that is sitting across the border in Lebanon, United Nations peacekeeping force. Why can't they enter and encounter this onslaught and stop that onslaught? And this is what the United Nations has actually agreed upon, to create a unilateral, force, UNLF, as they call it. And UNLF should go and stop and encounter this kind of terrorism to protect the civilian, to protect the innocent civilian who are helpless, who are nothing. Literally, they have nothing. The aid which has been supposed to be coming from Egypt and all that, the trucks and all that, has been blockaded by the Israeli soldiers and all that. So this insanity is prevailing on earth, and nobody, an American, the first secretary, I heard, we have inquiries going around, and we have to get back to the fact-finding figures. What's going? Are you blind? You cannot see what's going on there? I mean, it's not the kind of thing that. I mean, cameras are there. People are sending images. People are doing all sorts of reportage, and your staff says to verify, and the kind of attack which happened yesterday, in fact, was in Rafah, on the refugee camp, the people who are just literally decimated, who are just been, escaped from elsewhere and the rest of the place. And so, so how far you can go to do that? And here in Ireland, we do have some character called Alan Shatter. And Alan Shatter has been on the national television criticising our government's decision, saying it's a black day for Ireland. Hello? I mean, are you not Irish citizen? It's a shame that you served the Dáil Éireann at one point, and then and you're coming out with a statement against the politician, against the elected government, against Simon Harris, and their decision to recognise the Palestinian state. How dare you do that? And what kind of a brains you have? And we are ashamed of you that you actually made that statement. But anyway, it's more complicated than that, because if you criticize people outrightly like that on air, it becomes more problematic for everybody. Anyway, I just wanted to state the facts, and these are the facts. I'm not saying anything against the facts. This is happened day before yesterday on our national television, 9 o'clock, the news when the Simon Harris, Taoiseach, have declared with the Norwegian, Parliament, Prime Minister and the Spanish Prime Minister recognition of the state of Palestine. Now, I talked about this recognition business, that something which has already been there, how can you recognize that? It's already been there for years. Before 70 years ago, it was Palestine. So I'm going to do the book review actually in my next program, which is a beautiful book I'm reading at the moment. And it's called The Minor Details. And it's all about the 70 years ago, how Nakba, when the invasion happened of Palestinians people by the Israeli state and they celebrated the independence of the Israeli state. Anyway, that's a fascinating book. I'm going to review that book and I'm going to talk about that, the writers and things. That book has won the some award in the UK. Anyway, so this is what is happening in a bigger picture out there, that thank God we live in a country which has a moral bone in their bodies. If you don't have a moral bone in the body, you might as well not exist. And this is what it is to be a man, and to be a government, to be a republic, and what it means. And I think it's harking back to the fact that recognition of the independence of Ireland from the British Empire, from the brutality of the British Empire, is still very much fresh in people's mind, and people do sympathize with the nations who do suffer, who are suffering, who are losing their hope and all that. So let's hope that we're not losing hope. We would be continuing the fact that it will be recognized, and it will then be I always said that the game has just beginning, because what is going to happen next? How do you recognize? How do you rebuild Palestine? What shape and form that Republic of Palestine will exist side by side with the two-state solution? That's what they're talking about. That the two-state solution, and still are they at each other's throat if that is the case, because that is also not a solution. In fact, in a lot of people's analysis, that two states, although they can, like the other states in the world, like India, Pakistan can exist, like many countries side by side, and they have a border. So they can rebuild. Who will rebuild? How much it will cost to rebuild? And Palestinians would come back to their land and to vote and to create their own parliament and run effectively a democratic nation like any other republic on the map of the world. So that's all need to be seen and need to be heard in terms of what's going to happen in the future. Many things can happen, because I think the international focus has to be on this problematic area, so-called the Palestine and Israel. And therefore, you have to learn and see how the new landscape will pan out. Once the guns will silence, once the bombs will stop, once the ceasefire, the magic word. Why can't we cease fire? Why can't we enforce the ceasefire? As this ICJ said that, International Court of Justice have said that ICJ should enforce. And hello, who has got a bones in their body to enforce anything against the Americans? Of course, they are the only one, which has been, everybody's looking at them, because nobody else, the rest of the world is spineless. UK cannot enforce that. France and Germany cannot enforce that. We don't have that sort of military muscles, because we are a militarily neutral country. So we don't believe in the only people who can do so are the people who, with the UNLF, United Nations, force, a unilateral force of United Nations, which apparently we played a very significant role, because we have a battalion. The Irish battalion has been serving in Lebanon. And recently, socially, I met an army officer who served in Lebanon. I myself have lectured the Irish battalion once when they were going to Lebanon about the culture differences and things like that. So that is all possible. But nobody's giving a go-ahead to that. Who is in charge in the United Nations to give a go-ahead to UNLF to go and stop this onslaught and madness? Anyway, enough is enough.